Okay, YouTube, we have a drama alert. And as usual, if the drama doesn't involve me, then by God, we will speak on it.
I'm so ass at PvP, I one-tapped your bro. You make sure to cuddle him real good tonight so it feels better, okay? I'm sorry you suck. Skill issue. Get good. Bro, I'm not cheating. I've never cheated.
Okay, so recently, Pestily did unban request as he was waiting for White. And what do you know? 10IQ shows up in his unban request.
Let's find some fun ones. Holy. Oh, this is that guy. I'm just going to deny. I'm not going to read it.
Okay, so the funny thing about this one I found very funny. This one was really close to my heart because this was when I first started this channel, okay? This was when I spoke out about viewer kits because at the time I knew that BSG was cracking down on cheaters, handing loot out to people to make money back on their cheats. And I knew that BSG was going to start cracking down on no matter who was doing this, streamers and all. And as you see in this conversation, zoom in with your phones if you want to. This is a conversation that me and Pestily had while he was live streaming. I did not force this conversation out of him. This was a conversation he started on his stream. I chimed in. Me and him spoke for a good 45 minutes about it. And eventually he got to the point where he decided, you don't agree with me. You're not going to see my point. So I'm going to ban you. And that's fine. It's his platform, whatever. But guess what? 10IQ was right. 10IQ knew exactly what he was talking about. Pestily here was defending a streamer who was doing the wrong thing, breaking the game's rules and doing something that BSG was cracking down on to stop cheating, and none of these streamers cared. They all defended each other. They all stuck up for each other instead of the greater good of the game, which is what I was trying to vocalize at the time when I was speaking out about this. And as you see by my chats here, I'm having a conversation with Pestily about viewer kits. I explain that BSG is cracking down on this to stop cheating, and he banned me because of it. But then he finds it funny to keep me banned for a conversation from 9 months ago that I was right about, because all those streamers ended up getting banned. I was right. Everything I said was the truth. I was right. They all got banned. Pestily kept me banned solely because I didn't agree with him, and he prioritizes defending other streamers breaking the game's rules over the greater good of the game, which is very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. When I first started playing this game, the only streamer I watched was Pestily. I used to watch from like Raid Series 1 to 6. I used to play them on the lounge room TV, and I used to watch them. I watched every episode. He was like my go-to for Tarkov content. In my mind, when I first started playing this game, this guy was hands down my most viewed streamer. I didn't watch any other streamer, if I'm being honest. And my partner could tell you, I used to put the Raid series on the lounge room TV and play that and sit there. And before I even first got a computer, I used to sit there and watch the Raid series. And that's what made me buy a computer for gaming, was the very first and second Raid series. And it's unfortunate that this is the reality. It is what it is. And if I'm just being honest, just the fact that these streamers even know who I am is an honor to me. They know who I am. They know exactly everything I stand for. And even though in most cases it's negative, in my mind, being someone that just comes along out of nowhere and they know exactly who I am, in my mind, it's not a bad thing, even if it is negative, because, you know, that means people know who I am, whether it be good or bad. And that doesn't happen if you're just some delusional wacko that doesn't know what he's talking about, or someone who's making points that just aren't valid. That happens when you speak out and it pokes them in a way that they don't like. And I feel like that's the case here.
Skill issue. Get good. You should go watch it. I just never felt I should have had to ever make a video. Defamation. Wow. There's no way. I literally wore a camera on my head for 3 months.
Next up, we have Sheef getting absolutely cooked in his comments. So we're going to hit this video real quick.
Yo, what is this butt stop? So this is the boss AK. Before we get into the video, I'd like to talk about today's sponsor, Arena Breakout Infinite. This is a free-to-play game that stays true to the shoot, loot, and extract gameplay,
Free to play,
while incorporating exceptional quality of life features. With extremely quick
about as free as Gear Up Booster.
queue times, an easy to navigate menu and stash.
So if you scroll down here and just have a quick little look, the disrespect that you got an Arena Breakout sponsor playing Tarkov is hilarious. 147 likes. Wow. That is the top comment on this man's video. Imagine sponsoring a Chinese pay-to-win game. YouTubers have zero integrity. I've been saying this for some time. YouTubers and Twitchers, by the way. You know, see, the funny thing about this, the bittersweet thing about this to me is, in my mind, the whole player base wouldn't have such a huge issue with pay to win if it wasn't these people that made an issue about it. The whole entire player base has an issue with play to win because people like this were the ones that had an issue with it. They, in my mind, they planted the seed of this issue. And now that they're promoting these pay to win games and playing and accepting contracts from these pay to win games, their viewers have an issue with it, which is fair because that's what happens in content when you put forward such a huge moral standing against something, but then you do the complete opposite in the path of money. And it's great to see an entire community of people that are calling out this crap, this absolute crap. Because if you get on stream every day and you pretend to be this person with moral values, but then you do the complete opposite in the pursuit of money, then yeah, it's good to see that the Tarkov player base for once isn't just blindly simping and actually calling it how it is. It's great to see. And I hope it keeps happening. It's a rare thing in the Tarkov community, I'm not going to lie, because I had this conversation with someone earlier. Unfortunately, a sad thing with the Tarkov community is people prioritize streamers above moral integrity. And the second there's speak of a streamer or someone in the game who streams this game for a living, that person just could do no wrong. They're just a god. They would never do anything. It's like when I made a video saying streamers are being paid to play Arena Breakout, and my whole comment section was filled with people saying they would never do that. How dare you make this stuff up? You're just chasing clout. But then when I posted the video 2 days later with the proof and showing the contract, then those exact same people wrote a message saying, why are you pocket watching other streamers, bro? Why do you care what money they make? It's like, bro, you were the same person last video who was saying that they would never do this. How dare I come up with that conclusion? How dare I make an assumption like that? But now that you've seen the proof that they are doing that, your response is, why are you pocket watching, bro? Why do you care what streamers do for money? See, it just proves the point that the people that play this game, the vast majority, they just blindly simp. And I made this point when I admitted my past on this channel. And this has always been something that's going to get preached on my channel, okay? And I'll say this till the day I die. If you're a dude who gets on Twitch or YouTube and you put your emotions into a streamer and you follow these streamers with your emotions like and you protect them like they're your wife or your life partner, and it makes you that upset that you refuse to see reality, then you can we're not having it. It ain't happening anymore. Gentlemen, seriously though, simping for some internet personality, including me, I'm saying this about me as well, simping for any internet personality to the point that you just refuse to see reality and you just blindly defend or get that emotional about another man online. Look at your own life. There's something missing. Come on, we're men. Please stop doing that. Please, gentlemen, come on now.
I literally wore a camera on my head for 3 months, and I wore a camera showing my screens get good and my keyboard and my mouse, both my hands. That's crazy. For 3 months before that. Get good. He's gonna come to stream.
Alright, so we're gonna react to some of the best parts of Tickle Me Pink's video titled, Who Are You to Question Me? Escape from Tarkov. Really good video. I watched this morning. I love this video. This is an amazing video. It needs to be seen by more people. We're gonna check it out.
Who the you are to question him? Yeah, that was his official response to basically being called out for scamming his audience. I mean, lying to everyone's face and just being about it for the money.
What's going on YouTube? Cry Guy Tarkov has responded, and this is gonna hopefully be the final video in this entire segue. So today, I just want to recap very quickly how we got here. We'll look at that in just a second. So basically, a couple months ago, Battlestate Games went ahead and they released, I was one of the first people to buy it to actually see what was inside of it. And there was things in there that we didn't even know about. I had told people not to buy it. This is shitty from Battlestate Games, but it needs to exist as Edge of Darkness has been removed and people can't get on that gamma container level. People were very pissed at me. If we go look at this video here, it's gonna have like 20% like ratio on it. It's bad. So we'll look at it. You guys can see the revenue on this if you want. And here we have the engagement on it. Now, this is the first video where I just purchased the edition of the game and said,
I'm going to pause that there. I will say this. No content creator ever will show revenue made from videos. They will not do that. And someone showing that is, in my mind, it's a huge, it's a sign of, it's a very open and honest thing to do. Showing people what you make from your content is, it doesn't happen, and it doesn't happen for a reason. These guys don't want you to see what they make, because whenever they're streaming or whenever they're live or whenever they're making content, they want you to believe that the more support they get, the better. And someone showing what they're actually making from a video on YouTube or content or streams is, in my mind, that's huge to me, because I know in some cases it might not be much, and in some cases it's a lot, and no streamer will do it. No streamer will do it, and they don't do it for a reason.
don't buy it.
I knew about it. I just totally forgot about it, but they were explaining that this flare would be able to be called, you can call in your friends. I just don't remember the podcast. I was in the podcast when that one was being talked about.
People that were on the ETS and creators of nice guy size or my size, so smaller creators, knew about this flare coming into the game, right? My next stance was I didn't like everyone being rage baited and joining like this like hate mob. And all the big content creators, I mean, you had Linus Tech Tips, Asmongold joining on this hate mob. And it was one thing to be mad at Battlestate Games because, I mean, it was slimy what they did, right? But I just didn't like people like utilizing their platform to attack Battlestate Games when Battlestate Games had made them millionaires, right? Which I think is still a valid take. And the final stance I had was I have zero problems with any creators making money. I just don't like them deceiving people to do so.
Now, see, the reason he has to say this is because people that simp for these streamers that he's speaking out against, their only defense is, why are you pocket watching, bro? Why are you jealous of the money he's making, bro? No, he's not jealous of the money they're making or pocket watching. He's upset with the way that they're obtaining that money by lying and being deceitful, which is terrible. It's terrible. It's a crappy thing to do, is it not?
I think there's plenty of money to be made and still be like an honest person. It's not cool to deceive your audience of people that look up to you. That was my stance. And finally, I'm not trying to be on like a moral high horse. I'm a very flawed individual, and we'll talk more about that in this video. But as always, I have all the receipts, so let's dive into it. All right, so you guys might remember Time from the last video. It looks like my webcam might be a little bit in the way here on some of these. We'll just move it maybe up here, I don't know. But Time actually reached out and he apologized for his actions, and I mean, I can only commend him. We all make mistakes, and I'm really big on accountability, and we'll talk more about that later. So more power to him. He apologized. Does it make everything right? No, not necessarily, but he's accountable for it and he's moving forward as a person. So I don't really have anything else to say about that or about Time in general. Frankie got some shit about the video I put out, but I told him that if anyone or any of his clients think that he had any involvement, I would gladly stand up for him. Once again, he just had no involvement with this. So there we go. Nice guy. A lot of pressure was put on him, and miraculously this footage came up. So I'll show you guys this footage, but this is footage from him from 2023 of Nikita actually telling him about the flare coming to the game, right? So this magically suddenly,
why I don't have a cam. That's a nice guy right there. I mean, he could still just have a shave and use a camera. I mean, you don't have to be good looking to use a camera on the internet. That's a bit harsh. I will say that. That's a bit harsh. That's a bit of a woo. He went in hard on that one. He went in very hard on that one. These guys are beefing though. So, I mean, fair play to the guy.
Popped up now that he's getting like a little bit of pressure on him, right? So he's had this footage for over a year, just conveniently forgot to mention that he knew about this coming and instead uploaded a video with him pretending to cry and asking for money. I was able to cut this down. He did this like whole bit about how he's like ugly and he's gonna quit and he's stupid and this and that, but I'll just let you listen to this clip and make up your own mind. So this is Nikita here, if you don't know. I think he's the CEO or COO of Battlestate Games. He makes the music for. I mean, he's the man behind Battlestate Games. Nice guy Tarkov is right here, and then the guys that were paid him $500 each to be on this are with him as well. So they're talking.
For example, like
Just to give you guys a quick example of how much a person can make on YouTube on a grown channel. Here's my best video. This is my best video. This is not like a representation of all my videos, but this is my best video. It's 145,000 views and I made $650 from it. It's about $5 per 1,000 views. And you can imagine if someone like Cry Guy Tarkov made a 500,000 view video crying about the Unheard edition in Tarkov and then made 10 videos ragging on Tarkov that all got 100K plus views within 3 days. You know, this guy would have raked it in. You're talking thousands of dollars, like thousands of dollars. I know for a fact that he got maybe up towards 2 million views within 4 or 5 days just bashing on BSG when supposedly he knew about this update and knew it was coming and said how cool it was. You know, in my mind, that's absolutely insane. And as you see here, content creators can make a fair bit of money if, like, this is my most viewed video. Like, not all my videos do this well. Like, this is 150,000 views, so you can imagine how well a video would do with 500,000 views. It would be 3x this. It'd be like nearly a $2,000 video. It's a fair bit of money. You know, it's a fair bit of money. Okay, this is another thing. This is another thing that I really want to speak on. I really want to speak on this. This is very important. One of the biggest issues right now in Escape from Tarkov is communication with Battlestate Games and the English-speaking player base. So I'm talking US, England, Australia. That is one of the biggest issues right now is communication. And something that I really disagree with is someone like this nice guy charging people money to ask Nikita questions. Like, you have people like Pestily, for example. He is not even an emissary, and he spent a long time forming questions and stuff like that to ask Nikita. This guy is an emissary. It's his job to communicate with the English-speaking player base and communicate issues and ask questions and that kind of stuff. Him charging people money to ask Nikita questions and communicate stuff to Battlestate Games is disgusting. He's an emissary. He volunteered that job. His job is to bridge the communication gap between Battlestate Games and English-speaking players. That's his job. He volunteered that job. It's not, oh yeah, I can now sell that role off to people and I'll charge you $200 to ask a question to BSG. No. You volunteered yourself to bridge that gap in communication. You're a content creator. You have a platform. You cannot be selling that communication bridge between the player base and BSG or Nikita. This is your job. You volunteered. You might not be making much money doing this, but you're a content creator and you sure as hell would make a lot of money talking to Battlestate Games and making videos with real up-to-date info on what's happening in the game. Selling anything to do with that bridge in communication is disgusting. It is so disgusting. There's already a huge communication issue with all of us and Battlestate Games. And that's why all this talk of, Battlestate Battlestate Games likes cheaters, and all this talk just gets louder and louder and louder and louder. And it's terrible. It's not good. It's because of people like this. It's because of people like this who need to be cut out. Cut him out. Get rid of him. People that have a platform who are able to bridge this gap in communication, that's who should have this job and who should have this role as an emissary. And there's emissaries that do a really good job. There's people that aren't even emissaries that do a really good job. And for people to be charging any form of money for contact between the player base and BSG is terrible in my mind. Absolutely disgusting. That is how there becomes a bridge in communication between the player base and game developers. And that should not happen under any circumstances. Look at DayZ. Don't get me wrong. I have the lowest opinion of DayZ and how they manage their game and the things they do. But they just made one of the smartest choices on the planet. They literally just hired, I think it was like 4 or 5 streamers to become full-time community managers for DayZ. And their full-time job now is to communicate between the player base and the DayZ developers in Prague. And that is one of the smartest things a game could do, because communication with your player base is extremely important. Very important. If you do not communicate to your player base, bad things happen. And I've heard it. I've seen it. I've heard it. I hear it all the time on my channel. People's opinions that they have on Battlestate Games and BSG and Nikita are terrible, terrible, terrible opinions that just aren't true. They're just not true. And it's because of communication. It's because Nikita and BSG, there's a bridge in communication that's not being met. And it fuels these kind of bad takes and bad opinions that just get fueled that aren't true. And it's really bad. It's really bad for a game, and it has to stop. If BSG doesn't change something, it will get worse. Anyone selling any form of communication between player base and a game for any currency is get rid of that person. Get rid of them. They will make enough money off their content to be able to travel and get them out of there. They obviously have something else going on in their life, and they should not be that person. They just should not. It's terrible. It's not good for a game.
I want to add, I think when you play as a PMC or as a SCAF, and you have a special, I'm starting to lose it because literally right now it's 3 a.m. in my place. So you will have the specific flare, and you'll be able to call a help, and it will be like the hot seat server, hot seat place. So people like in your friends, they will see like somebody needs your help, join. Yeah, and you will join this raid to help them. And it will be an option, yeah. It will be an option for the PMC or the SCAF, but again, it will be added as a feature.
That might be one of the coolest of everything I heard. That might be one of the coolest fucking things that you guys have thought of.
He loves the idea.
That might be one of the coolest things I've ever heard. Wasn't this the guy who made 10 videos completely destroying BSG, completely roasting BSG for these decisions? Did you just hear his response? That might be one of the coolest things I've ever heard. But then when the update drops, this guy made 7 to 10 videos in 3 days, completely roasting BSG for their decisions about Unheard. What?
That might be one of the coolest things he's ever heard of. So now I've shown that emissaries have clipped and said they knew about this coming. ETS members knew about this coming. Creators of my size as well as his size knew about this coming, but no one mentioned it, right? No one mentioned they knew this was coming other than me. And I got absolutely drugged through the mud. Everyone treated me like it was a tinfoil hat. Glorious E went on like a tirade about how I was a stupid nobody who was making things up for clicks. And everyone was telling me I was doing this for my own benefit. Guys, I lost thousands of subscribers subscribers or just telling
He would
the
have.
truth. So he put this information
He would have
out
too.
thinking this would somehow clear his name. And I just wanted to bring attention quickly to something that I was thinking about. So this is once again Nice Guy Tarkov, what he was charging people to meet Nikita and ask him questions. So he brought, I think it was 4 people to come hang out with him and Nikita. We're not going to factor in all these other deliverables he had, but he hung out with them for 30 minutes, guys. So let's just do some like super quick math here. So just to hang out with Nice Guy Tarkov, this is what he thinks his time is worth. So first, he had 4 people with him for 30 minutes. That's $2,000 for 30 minutes. So think about, we'll just go ahead and multiply by 2. Think about how much you make an hour. So Nice Guy Tarkov thinks you just being in his presence is worth $4,000 an hour.
Okay, I'm going to say this. I'll say this now. There's emissaries out there that do this for virtually nothing. Those guys do this for virtually free. They don't even make content. And they volunteer their time to do this for free because they love this game. How is there people out there that are charging money? That's really bad for a game. Terrible for a game.
So you can get to hang out in a group in his presence, really show how ridiculous this is. Let's go ahead and times this by a weekly hourly, right? So 40 hours right there, that's $160,000 a week to be in his presence with some other people. Let's go ahead and multiply that by 4. $640,000 to be in his presence for a month.
You're talking easily $1 million plus a year. It's people like this that need to be removed from the community that are not good. That's really bad. That's terrible.
Actually sent him a message back in 2021, it looks like, just asking how he got some b-roll shots, etc. I had seen his channel before and he told me that everything was just from trailers. So this is when he first reaches out to me about exposing him for basically all his corruption and bullshit. His first message to me is, "That's cute. I thought I recognized your name. You've been around for a while." Like, what the fuck kind of response to that is that, dude? It's just like patronizing me for being exposed. Like, it's crazy. Like, dude, he's not that big of a YouTuber. I'm not a very big YouTuber. Like, just throwing the weight around is absolutely crazy, dude. But I asked him a little bit. If you guys don't know, he had a bit of a history of playing with some cheaters. So when Lightkeeper came out, which is like, you know, the trader that's on the Lighthouse Island, on the map Lighthouse, when that first came out, you had to do a tremendous amount of quests to unlock him. Well, he was racing, itching to get those views, itching to make that money per usual, and he was playing with cheaters. Now, this is all since, for the most part, been covered up. I mean, he did a whole video crying, asking why the community was so mean to him, etc, etc, etc. But he got caught playing with cheaters so that he could get to the Lighthouse fast and do content, right? So before he blocked me on Twitter, I called him a wet wipe as well, but before he blocked me on Twitter, I collected all this information on him playing with the cheater. And this is the stuff that's just, you know, still up because he does have a tendency
He played with Kev.
of hiding things, right? So this is all of just what's still up of him playing with this cheater, right? And he says if the cheater is ever proven to be banned, he will quit for good and go back to the games industry. Now, he also states that he got fired from the games industry, which I don't understand how that's possible, dude. Like, he was literally just fetching lattes as a fucking intern. I don't know how you fucked that up. But anyways, this is all the proof of him playing with cheaters, of what's still up. I'll go ahead and post this down below, because I'm blocked on Twitter. I can't actually open any of these links, but I'll let you guys go ahead and make up your own mind on why he's playing with cheaters. But that's not where it ends, right? Because when the community actually went ahead and called him out for playing with cheaters, this was his response.
Although, if you do complain a lot about Escape from Tarkov and don't make it to the end of this video, you are a bitch, and I will explain why. That sounds a
Yeah, so this was his response to, if you complain about cheaters in the game, you are a bitch. That's his official response on YouTube after he comes back from playing with cheaters. Not the best look, bro. Not the best look. I'm gonna be honest. Now, this is where I want to go ahead and incriminate myself, because this stuff happened in the past, and Nice Guy Tarkov was was throwing this all around anyways. But something that I still keep public on my channel to this day, I don't hide it, is from about half a decade ago. This is the most recent one, and it started in, I think, 2019 and then 2020. So this is about to be 5 years old. And that is that I used to be sponsored to buy EFT rubles. Now, all of these are still public on my channel. I have 3 videos where you'll see that I was sponsored by this website, and they paid me $50 a video to go ahead and sell these rubles, right? So I leave this up because of accountability. It was simply a shitty decision. I really only thought about myself when making this decision. I didn't care about Tarkov. I had more important things to focus on. When you first do that, you might think, what the fuck? Let me go ahead and explain something. So I've never really like hid this, but I don't talk about this much as well. You know, I try and be very honest. However, this is kind of weird because it involves someone else. So this is also not justification for this. I'm just gonna put you in the headspace I was in at this time. So my girlfriend, the love of my life, was diagnosed with brain cancer. It was crazy. I was a young adult. I think I was 21 years old, and I did not know how to react. I simply was just trying to make money. I took these shitty sponsorships. I did all sorts of things to make money, and I'm really glad that I did, and I would still make these decisions today. Now, I would have definitely utilized this sponsor more, just not taking whatsoever, because I only did 3 videos, and I think they paid me $150. But really, what it came down to was I was only focused on making money and making sure her health came first and foremost. Now, I leave these up so I can be held accountable. You guys can think less of me for that. If you want to judge me for who I was 5 years ago, and you know, you think I'm a piece of shit today because of this choice, by all means, I implore you to do so. I don't hide this. Like, this is still available on my channel. It's been available on my channel this entire time, and it's extremely easy to hide this stuff, guys, right? I mean, it's as easy as simply just doing this. Private. I could just hit private and done, and no one would ever know. So why do I keep it on my channel? It's just for accountability, dude. It was just a dumb decision, and I leave it up there, man. If anyone wants to make fun of me, if anyone wants to think less of me for it, that's totally acceptable, man. You know, we all make mistakes, and being accountable is part of like character progression. And maybe that's why I don't like seeing these other creators have zero accountability for, in the present day, lying and manipulating their audience to make a buck out of them. Maybe that's why it's disgusting to me. I went ahead and I tried to, because I'm always really big on receipts here. I tried to go ahead and showcase, you know, the payout for that, the $150 I got for those videos. We want to do a custom. We want to go back as early as we can, because once again, this happened half a decade ago. And the farthest back you can go is January of 2021. That's not actually how far you can go back. You can actually see that it's blocked out here. So we can't really start going back until August. What is going on with the date there? August of 2021. So unfortunately, I was paid out prior to that, before that, so I can't actually show you guys the PayPal receipts here. So I guess you'll have to take my word that I was paid $150, but it's literally just a link in the description and a
see, this is the thing. In my mind, as a man, you know, if you have a YouTube channel and you make videos about a video game and you have a partner that you just found out has brain cancer, and you can take any contract you can to make a bit of extra money, I might be wrong. I'll say how I feel. I feel like you wouldn't be a man if you didn't do it. That's you know, in my mind, he's not doing it today. It's not something he's doing now. It's something he's done, and he openly admits that he regrets. And I'll be honest, if I was in his position today, now, I'd probably do the same thing. That's pretty crazy. That's, you know, and that's the thing. And I feel like it's the same point that he's trying to make, is people do make mistakes. And the only way that you're a better person is if it's something that you used to do and it's something that you're not doing now, because you see that it's not the right thing to do, because that's how life works pretty much in my mind. If I was in that situation, I'd do it. If I found out my partner down the hallway with my newborn child right now had brain cancer, I'd do it. You wouldn't really be a man if you didn't, you know, in my mind. But, you know, and someone who's doing the wrong thing today, that's sure as hell going to be something that they're going to throw in your face, you know, someone who's doing that today. Like, and it showed the numbers before, the kind of money that dude must be making just from content. Like, I could show you guys the numbers, like on some of the, like a video that I made, for example, and I know for a fact that he tripled at least those numbers on the videos that he makes. And yeah, it's insane.
5-second reel. So it's honestly crazy they even paid me $50 at this time. And I would also like to explain that if any of you guys are new to Tarkov, at this time there really was no correlation between like cheating, people selling rubles. This correlation came in maybe like a year later. It became a serious problem in the game, and I take full responsibility that I probably made it worse by accepting this, but I really didn't think about it. I mean, in my head, growing up playing games like RuneScape, World of Warcraft, you know, buying gold, selling gold online was always very commonplace. And in RuneScape there is a lot of botting, and in World of Warcraft there's a lot of hacking. But in Tarkov, I wasn't really aware that cheaters were actually farming rubles at this time. So I really just thought it was players selling their gear, honestly. Other than that, I really don't have anything else to say. What I do have to say is, if I see any creators talking mad shit about this, I've seen a lot of you motherfuckers accept G2A contracts in your banners on your Twitch channels that literally sell fucking rubles, all right? Like half of you motherfuckers. So if I see you guys talking slick, I will put you on blast as well, all right? What else do we have to talk about? Oh, I'm gonna try and raise $1 million for St. Jude's. We were gonna do the Wounded Warrior project, but I guess they had 2 guys that got caught like partying with their money, and I think they've dealt with them now. However, I just don't want to spend an entire year of my life sacking all my income and streaming, trying to generate income, and just hearing about how it's a scam, you know what I mean? So when you go over to my stream and you hit donate, it'll go till Tiltify. So Pestily's been giving me advice on how to do this. He's the one that inspired all of this, because he did like the whole Starlight Foundation thing, and he raised money for you. I think he raised over $1 million for Starlight Foundation. Now $1 million is a tremendous amount of money. Do not worry, I have some plans. I'm working with some businesses. They're gonna do dollar matching. So if you have a sub to me, cancel your sub to me. If you want to, I mean, just keep that money to your money, whatever. If you want to still give that money away, you could throw the $5 at this cause. That would be really cool. I want to raise $1 million. So I'm working with companies to do dollar for dollar matching. So I'd say like if I throw $10 in, then they throw $10 in. And I'm also working with some companies on some rewards. So let's say we pass the threshold of, let's say, $10,000, $5,000, whatever. We're gonna give away like a graphics card. We're gonna give away like a gaming chair. We're gonna give away like a gaming computer. I'm still trying to figure all that stuff out. And I'm not the biggest creator. I'm not the smallest creator either. So we'll see how much leverage we have. I've already purchased a couple $1,000s worth of incentives out of my own pocket, just to go ahead and try and incentivize people to donate to this cause. And oh, Tiltify, I need to talk about that a little bit more. So Pestily recommended this. So this way, Tiltify, the money never goes in my account, right? So it's not like you guys give me $10 and I hold on to it and it's like a swearsies, I'm gonna give this to charity. The money I never.
Yeah, let's be honest with the video. This is my take on it all. He's obviously someone, you know, if you're gonna watch Tarkov content creators, he's not the biggest content creator, he's not the smallest, he's somewhere in the middle. And the truth is, if you put yourself online for an extended period of time, anyone's going to have flaws. And if the only flaw you can find is in someone's past, as opposed to who they're being today, I'd much rather that person be the person that I'm following than the person who is doing terrible things today and just bringing up people's past. And I feel like it's a huge thing in the Tarkov communities. There's so many content creators that are sort of in that weird space of and people ask me stuff like this all the time, is what am I doing wrong? Why am I not growing on my channel? Why am I not? And you know, I feel like the reason for my growth is because I say a lot of things that most people just won't say. And half the time it's channel suicide. It's not things you should say if you want to grow a channel. And I wouldn't suggest people do any of the stuff I do. If your goal is to grow a channel and move to full-time streaming eventually. It's not something you should do because you're not going to make friends with anyone. You're not going to be someone that streamers talk greatly about. It's, you know, I sort of feel like this guy, and I know he might watch this, I feel like this guy is sort of in the middle zone with that. He's like a sort of, I'm not a full-time content creator, but then half foot in the door of full-time content creator. And it's like he doesn't see himself as one, but he is. And a lot of people ask me about this. Is like, what can I do to grow my channel? And if you want to be a full-time content creator, you have to completely wipe drama and all of your opinions on other people just completely out of it. You have to essentially be a robot who just does not get involved in any drama, does not speak it. That's why I was kind of confused about the Glorious thing. It's like, I don't think I've ever seen him speak bad about anyone, ever. And that's what these guys have to do. They will not be the first to speak on something. They will rarely speak on drama. They most certainly will not. They're essentially just a robot, you know, because their goal is to get views and make a living off making content. And it's not a bad thing. It's, I mean, like as a man, as someone who has a child and stuff, it's smart. Don't get me wrong. It's a good thing to do if that's your goal in life. But if you're someone who plays this game and, you know, a lot of people are fine with that, and that's okay. That's not a bad thing. But, you know, it's not for me. And if my goal was to make a living doing this, I'd do otherwise. I definitely wouldn't be the person I am on this channel. But yeah, it's a strange spot. This guy originally had a very strong opinion of me and who I was in the past and stuff like that. And I understand anyone who has a strong opinion against me. I completely understand it. I'm fine with it. And to be honest, this is something I say to a lot of small streamers and people starting out making content say this to me. What do you think I should do to grow my channel and stuff like that? And this is something I say to people is, if your goal is to grow a channel and your goal is to, you know, and it might not be the best advice, but if people know your name and people know who you are, and sometimes it's in a negative light, that's not always a bad thing if you're growing a channel. That means that your content is valid in that space. That means that people know who you are and they know your content. That's not a bad thing. And I know me, myself, a big chunk of the Tarkov community might not like my past or might not like some of the things I've done or said. But at the end of the day, in my mind, what's successful in content is just the fact that people know who you are, people know you have a channel, and people know your opinion. And that means they've watched it. That means they've taken in that content. And whether that be good or bad, it's not a bad thing. That's what it's about to me. And, you know, I'd rather be someone who's controversial and half, people don't like me and people, as opposed to people that like me, as opposed to someone who keeps the peace, never says their opinion and is nice and only streams gameplay content and never says anything out of the norm and struggles to break 1,000 followers on Twitch after 4 years of streaming 5 days a week. In my mind, when it comes to that, I'd rather just be myself, be my flawed self, and there's no shame in that. There's no, you know, you're gonna get a lot of issues, but that's what content's about, in my opinion. That is pretty much the video. I just want to quickly say some things. This month alone, I had about $250 in donations from people on YouTube, and I say this, I'm not the kind of person who asks for donations on stream or in my videos or anything like that, but a lot of people have been donating to me lately, and if you do donate me money, I would prefer if I can give you something back if you do. So I have a membership program, and if you join that membership program, it's not much for your money. Like, you get roles in my Discord, you get additional content, like banned content that I can't play on my channel, and you get a couple of things like that. But there's a buy me a coffee link on my YouTube channel. If that is an option you want to go, then do it that route so I can at least give you something back for your money instead of you just sending me money and whatever. I don't usually do the whole money thing. I would prefer if you guys just liked and commented on the video. If you watch the videos or you watch this channel, that's all I ask for, if anything, and that would make me happy. But I noticed this month, when I got my YouTube end of month summary, it was like $250 that people sent to me. And if that's the case, just go to my YouTube channel. You'll see a link for my Buy Me a Coffee. Go there and join my Discord. And at least that way I can give you something for that money instead of you just donating to YouTube and YouTube taking half, and I can't give you anything for that money. So definitely look into that. That's the video. Thank you for watching. That's today's drama alert.